Mariners put up a hat trick of home runs last night, including one from this man right here. Plus, Robbie Ray went 6 solid innings as Seattle defeated the new-look Texas Rangers. We're going to recap the action and get you set for Game 2 tonight here on Locked On Mariners. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It is Wednesday, April 20th, 2022, and this is the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms. I am your host, Ty Gonzalez, joined as always by my co-host, Colby Patno. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's DANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Be sure to also check out our Patreon, where we talk about the Mariners even more and all goodness on baseball talk twice a week. Visit patreon.com/control the zone for more information on that if you are interested. And if this is your first time joining us here, welcome to the show. If you like what you hear, give us a follow or subscribe wherever you listen to this. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and tell your friends to come check us out. We greatly appreciate it. So before we get into what happened at T-Mobile Park last night, let's talk about what's going on at T-Mobile Park right now. Kind of a developing situation going on. Scott Servais and Manny Acta have both tested positive for COVID-19. They are out for the foreseeable future. Christopher Negron will be taking over as acting manager in Acta and Servais's absence. Paul Sewald has also landed on the injured list. No reason given as of yet, but it seems likely considering the fact that Servais, that Acta, Mitch Haniger, and Luis Lorenz have all tested positive for COVID. That is also COVID related. Penn Murfee, right-handed pitching prospect for the Mariners, is coming up. Colby, this doesn't seem like this is a situation that's done yet for the Mariners. It seems like it might only be getting started. When do you think the Major League Baseball might start canceling or postponing some of these games for the Mariners?
I don't think they're going to, because they've already shot themselves in the foot by trying to get in 162 games in 162 days instead of extending the regular season by a week because they didn't want to change the dates on the World Series. So I think the Mariners or Cleveland or whoever, they're just going to have to go through this. And it's unfortunate because obviously, you want your guys to be healthy, and COVID-19 is no joke. But also, you're probably going to be in a pretty tight playoff race, either for the division or a wild card spot, and each and every one of these games matters. So every game that you're not putting your best foot out there is going to hurt. And I mean, you said it right there. It's Seawald, it's Haniger, it's Torrens. These are key contributors. I mean, Seawald's kind of been, your relief ace so far this year. Haniger provided a lot of the offense before he went down. He should be getting close to returning. The COVID rules are a little iffy, undefined. At least I couldn't find any clear answers. I believe it's a 5-day minimum. For Haniger, that would be on Thursday. So could be back Thursday, Friday. We'll see. He has to be asymptomatic as well. So yeah, it's just a bummer. And it sure doesn't feel like it's stopping. We do know that it was COVID for Sewald. Divish has confirmed. So, it's not good. And there's probably going to be a few more. Again, you hope that you kind of avoid, the disaster scenario, which was at Miami a few years ago. Where they're calling up 19 guys. You kind of hope you can avoid that, and this is where vaccination rates are really going to matter in the clubhouse. It's not something we talk about, but this is the baseball. This is the impact to the baseball team that is, aside from whatever your thoughts are, it does impact your baseball team, and we're seeing it right now. So. We don't know the vaccination status of any of these guys. We can make very educated guesses, but we don't know for sure one way or another. So we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, right now, just hoping those guys are okay. They're doing well. They're asymptomatic, and hopefully they can get back really soon because it is a pretty significant blow to the Mariners. They're not a team that has tremendous depth, anyways.
Yeah, so we've seen Penn Murfee get called up. We've seen Mike Ford get called up. We've seen Donovan Walton get called up. And we're also seeing some coaches get called up as well. Zach Vinci, who played a whopping one game with the Seattle Mariners in 2018, is going to be first base for the M's tonight. Dan Wilson's going to be in the dugout as well after he was on the radio broadcast yesterday. So he's been doing a lot. And it seems like Dave Sims also has COVID. That's why he wasn't in the booth last night. So this is hitting pretty much every aspect of the Mariners organization, not just the ball club itself. Rick Riz also wasn't doing the radio broadcast last night. Not sure what's up with that. Obviously don't want to speculate, but hopefully everyone is doing okay. Best wishes to everyone in the Mariners organization that has contracted COVID, and hoping for a speedy recovery there from everyone. But yeah, this greatly impacts the Mariners in a plethora of ways. And it's, it's pretty awful timing in general. Not like the timing could be good in any sense, but yeah, you're starting the season off right now, and you're only 11 games into the year, and this hits you all of a sudden. It's not great. It's not great to start the year with something like this, and hopefully the damage is limited. Hopefully we don't see too many more positives come out of here, but it doesn't seem like we're out of the woods just yet. It seems like maybe we're only kind of starting to see the effects of this. So hopefully, they're practicing. Social distancing and maybe masking up in the clubhouse and all that stuff to limit the spread. And hopefully it doesn't, infect too many other Mariners in that clubhouse right now. But not an ideal situation. Cool opportunity though for Christopher Negron, who obviously ran the Rainiers last year and made his way to the Mariners organization, or the Mariners Major League staff this year. Obviously, he was with the Mariners in 2018, just like Zach Vince. There was a tweet out there that I read. Who was that from? So we can give him proper credit. That said, go back in 2018 and tell Mariners fans that Zach Vince and Christopher Negron are going to be on your coaching staff in less than 4 years. Because
Brent Stecker.
Brent Stecker. Shout out to Brent Stecker of 710 Seattle Sports. It's a wild time that we're in right now, but this is the way that the Mariners are going to have to maneuver this thing and navigate this thing, and hopefully they come out of this not in too bad of shape. But it's certainly not great. Let's talk about Penn Murfee real quick though. What are the Mariners getting in Penn Murfee?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The latest round of comps have dropped on Penn Murfee over the last year or so, and they all kind of point to Paul Sewald. He is a guy who is not going to blow the fastball by. He's 92, 93 with a pretty good wipeout slider. It's thrown at kind of a funky arm angle. It's. I said it doesn't look like it would be super overpowering, but you look at what he's done so far this year in Tacoma, 8 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, just 1 hit allowed. It's a really cool story, man. I mean, Penn Murfee was a 33rd round draft pick, and he's 27 years old. He's an older prospect. I mean, barely a prospect at that age, but like I said, it's a really cool story. Just 33rd round pick back in 2018. Worked his way through the minors. He actually pitched for Vanderbilt, which is really cool for a hot second there. And like I said, it's mostly fastball slider. He does have some starting experience, including last year, so he can go multiple innings if you need him to. But he's really a guy you just want to go one. He's a 7th inning guy in low to medium leverage situations. It's 93-mile-per-hour fastball with a pretty good slider, and if he can throw strikes with it, then he'll be a fine reliever. But it's the comp here is actually, ironically, Paul Sewald, which might be why the Mariners went this direction. Yeah,
it's hard to find silver linings in a situation like this, but if there is one, Penn Murfee certainly gives you a good one there. It's a cool story at the very least. It'll be fun to see him finally make his major league debut. It's been a long road to this point for Penn Murfee, and hey, who knows? When Paul Sewald got called up alongside Jared Kelenic and Logan Gilbert, we didn't think anything of it, and Paul Sewald's been more or less elite out of the bullpen the last year. So hey, maybe they have something, Penn Murfee. And maybe, these unfortunate circumstances have kind of pushed them to the point to find that out. So we're going to talk about the Mariners' win last night, which now, kind of considering everything that's happened today, kind of feels like an eternity ago. But we're going to be discussing that. Going to be discussing Robbie Ray start. Going to be discussing the bats. Just a moment, but real quick, a reminder: this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by a new sponsor of ours, Blue Nile. Whether she prefers a statement piece or everyday subtle elegance, BlueNile.com has fine jewelry options for every mom. Mark Mother's Day with something enduring: classic diamond stud earrings, elegant tennis bracelets, birthstone pendants, and so much more. This Mother's Day, give mom something she'll treasure forever with fine jewelry from BlueNile.com, and Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off $500. This podcast exclusive is only good through Mother's Day. Use promo code LOCKEDON, that's LOCKEDON. Plus, every order is insured, free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. That's pretty convenient, like me, and live 1,000+ miles away from mom. So shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. You're listening to Locked On Mariners. Thank you again for making us your first listen of the day, just like you do here every day. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, including myself, taking fans through the season like no other network. It is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. So the Mariners won a ball game last night. They are back over 500, 6-5. They win 6-2 to open up the series with the Rangers. Trio of home runs, that's all the offense for the Mariners. A little bit of a lull for the offense in between some of those home runs, but Eugenio Suarez getting things going. Good vibes only, of course. 3-run shot in the first inning. Jarred Kelenic gets on the board with his second home run of the year. Another one off the foul pole, just like his first in Chicago. And then Abraham Toro, we got an Aber slam last night. 2-run shot to deep right center field to cap off the scoring efforts for the Mariners. Then Robbie Ray, 6 solid innings, just 4 strikeouts, but we saw some positives out of him. The fastball was more 93, 94. We talked about this yesterday, that we'd like to see the velocity get back up there on the fastball. It was there. It was more 93 than 94, but still an uptick for sure. And he was actually using the slider efficiently as well. What did you see out of Ray last night?
Pretty good. Not great. We still haven't seen the high strikeout total from Robbie Ray. Again, fastball velocity was nice. We did see a couple of nice back foot sliders on back-to-back hitters in, I believe, the second inning. Might have been the third. So, yeah, overall it was okay. A little bit of luck there, too. There were some hard hit balls, particularly in the sixth, that happened to go right to guys. So the Mariners benefited from a little bit of BABIP luck. It's nice when those things go your way. But yeah, overall, he was fine, I would say. Still not the dominant Robbie Ray that we want to see. 11 whiffs on 85 pitches. Not great. 11 whiffs on 46 swings. That's not terribly good. But like I said, the velocity, at least he touched 94. The average velocity was up about a half a tick. A full tick from where he was in his last start, too. He was about 92.7. So, yeah, it was better, certainly. But yeah, it's still not quite there for Robbie Ray overall. But 6 innings, 2 runs against a pretty powerful lineup. That's not too bad. It's kind of weird that Eli White was the one who got him. Not so weird that Marcus Semien was also the one who got him. But yeah, he was for the most part pretty good. I mean, only 1 walk, which is something you really like to see. Now it's just a matter of just being a little sharper, a little crisper. But, in terms of the strikeouts, Texas was being very aggressive. Chicago is very aggressive. So, I mean, he's facing teams that don't like to take pitches. And honestly, if you're facing Robbie Ray, you probably don't want to get in a 2-strike count anyway. So you're going to be a little bit more aggressive. But the nice thing is Ray's gone at least 6 in all 3 starts. And, he's giving you a shot to win all 3 of them, and the Mariners have won 2 of them. So, overall, again, still not great, Robbie Ray. The batted ball data is not fantastic on him, but we just haven't seen quite as crisp as we need to. But we are certainly seeing some signs, and he'll get another shot on Sunday against Kansas City, I believe. So, we'll see how it goes for him. But overall, positive, but still some work to do.
Yeah, very excited to see Robbie in the Sunday creams for sure against the Royals. Got to see Matt Brash in those last week. Those are my favorite uniforms for those that do not know of the current Mariners slate.
Sure.
I love those things. So let's talk about this offense then. Like I said, they did all their damage via the long ball. Eugenio Suarez with his third home run of the year. There's been a lot of talk about him on Twitter today. We're not really going to get deep into that, but Suarez has been pretty much what we said he was going to be. He's been at the very least equivalent to 2021 Kyle Seager. Right? He's going to give you power. He's going to strike out quite a bit. He's not going to hit for a high average, but it's going to give you power. He's been better than I expected defensively thus far, and we'll see if that continues. But he's been actually pretty dang good over there. And he's walking a little bit too. Obviously it's still very early, but just a little bit under a 10% walk rate right now. So it's been good stuff from Suarez, who's at a 131 WRC plus right now. What have you seen out of Eugenio?
Lots and lots of power, particularly to dead center field to right center field, which I love from a right-handed bat. It's one of my favorite things, is opposite field power from righties and lefties. But I don't know, there's something different about it coming from a right-handed bat. You go look at his hit spray chart for this year. I mean, there's only like 5 hits on it, but 4 of them are to right center field to right field, and 1 of them is to dead center. And yeah, the walks, cool, but it's not like Suarez never walked. He's right now putting up the same pace he did last year, 9.8%. K percentage is basically what it was last year, 29.8 in 2021, 29.3 right now. So yeah, he's been, and like you said, the defense has been at least as good as Seager last year. I mean, he's made a couple flashy plays just like Seager did last year. But yeah, overall, I think what we're seeing here is Suarez is at worst a duplicate of Kyle Seager in terms of just overall production from last year at worst. And there's certainly more upside here because, unlike Seager, Suarez can go the other way with some authority. And he certainly has a personality that is making him a quick fan favorite with Mariners fans. So overall, pretty promising. Again, you'd like to see a little bit more consistent contact because when he does make contact, he's 97th percentile in barrel percentage. So he's hitting the ball hard. Yeah. He's actually not swinging and missing all that much, about league average, 54th percentile in whiff rate. So it's right now it's a 68th percentile in chase rate. So most of his strikeouts appear to come looking. So we'll see. We'll see how it all evens out for him. But yeah, so far he's basically the guy he was last year, except for he's not being asked to play shortstop, which he cannot play. So he's been more valuable overall.
Yeah, that home run yesterday was actually really impressive too, because that's a pitch that was on the outside, or it was on the outside out of the plate. Yeah, that's for him to get the barrel around that, like the way that he did, and then to drive that to deep center field in T-Mobile Park. That's not a lot of guys can do that, quite frankly. So that is stupid power right there.
Right. And they're using like deadened baseballs this year too. The baseballs aren't as springy as they were last year. So there's very few cheap home runs, let's say. And
yeah, Jesse Winker knows a lot about that. And he got robbed of another one last night, of course. Hit it to opposite field to the warning track again, and it just died again. Poor Jesse.
Yeah, hopefully the summer months are better for Jesse. But I mean, you look at Suarez got off to a rough start in his first 2 games. He was 0 for 8, 4 strikeouts. So yeah, I know it's a small sample size right now, but let's make it even smaller. From his 3rd game on April 11th to now, 241, 333, 655. That'll play, as the kids say. So Suarez has been pretty good for the last week, and I think, this is pretty much who he is. He's going to hit some home runs. He's going to strike out. He's going to play at least solid average defense at third base, and he's going to be a fan favorite. especially with the good vibes only that he's thrown out there.
Yeah, of course. And, once he, as the season progresses and once he gets more into the 5, 6, 7 range of the lineup, because I think that's eventually where he's going to land, that's going to be great value to have at that spot in your lineup with the kind of power that he brings. That's going to be really nice to have. That's going to be a nice asset. I think they got their third baseman, at least for this year. So that's good. As long as he can keep this up, I think they're pretty well off at that spot moving forward. So we're going to talk about tonight's matchup. We got Logan Gilbert versus Dane Dunning on the bumps for these teams, and we're going to be previewing that in just a moment. But real quick, a reminder: this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, like I said, we got Logan Gilbert versus Dane Dunning. Gilbert's been pretty good to start off the year. What are you hoping to see out of him going up against this aggressive lineup?
Yeah, the Rangers are kind of a pure platoon team right now, so we're going to see Brad Miller tonight. We're going to see Willie Calhoun tonight. So
and
there's
Cole
going to be
Calhoun, of course. Ginger Popeye he's going to strike.
Yeah, so the changeup feels like a pitch that's going to be pretty important for Logan. A couple right-handed heavy lineups his first 2 times out. This one's going to be much more balanced, so the changeup is going to be a little more important. We've seen Gilbert throw a few changeups. Some have been really good. Some have been non-competitive, let's say. So I feel like that's going to be kind of the go-to pitch. Obviously, everything comes off of the fastball, so he's got to locate that fastball at the top of the zone. But yeah, when you're talking about Seager and both Calhouns and Brad Miller and probably Jonah Heim, like the changeup's going to be pretty important for Logan Gilbert tonight, unless he can just bury that slider at the lefty's back foot. But yeah, I think tonight's a good night for the changeup, and we'll see if he can land it. But yeah, I mean, things you can count on from Logan Gilbert. He's probably going to throw strikes, and he's probably going to throw a lot of fastballs up in the zone. So we'll see what kind of off-speed stuff he has. But yeah, I feel like if Gilbert's going to go deep in this game, it's going to be because of the changeup, not the slider tonight.
Yeah, really interested to see how he goes after guys like Corey Seager, right? Like how aggressive is he going to be, and how early and how often is he going to use the changeup, if at all? It's going to be really interesting to see how he kind of maneuvers through this entire season, really start to start, and see if he maybe tries some different things here with more of his off-speed stuff. Because I feel like if he can really tap into a secondary or a tertiary offering that is consistent, sky's the limit for this guy, really. Because I mean, we've seen what he can do with just the fastball working. So we'll see how he goes after this lineup with Semien and Seager at the top, and then some pretty good hitters throughout. Nathaniel Lowe, Jonah Heim, they've been pretty good to start the year off. Let's get your pick to click, your take to rake, whatever you want to call it, against Dane Dunning, who is not off to a great start for the Rangers, like most of their pitchers. Who are you feeling tonight? You picked Jesse Winker last night. He got a couple walks. That didn't really break out of the slump just yet, but he is certainly leading the American League in walks right now with 12.
Yes, I'm doubling down. Give me Jesse Winker again.
Good. Yes.
Yeah. I assume you're taking Kelnick again. So the thing with Dunning is that it's mostly fastball, sinker slider. He does mix in the changeup a fair amount, about 18% of the time. So it is a pitch that you have to be wary of, but it's not something that you should really worry about. You're pretty much looking for the sinker or the slider. Both of those pitches have been hit pretty hard this year. The sinker at least the slider at least opponents are just slugging 333 against it, but there's an X slugging of 534. Dunning he's got pretty good stuff, but it's not overpowering stuff. He's also had some issues controlling commanding his pitches, and he's 46th percentile in walk percentage. Jesse Winker is going to walk at least once, but I mean that's not that bold. I don't know if he's going to get a home run tonight, but I think he's going to. I think one of those balls he hits to the warning track is going to land. I think he's going to have a nice double and a couple of walks, and be on base a few times, and maybe just maybe the baseball gods will actually smile on him for once, and one of those deep fly balls he hits will actually leave the yard.
Man, that would be nice because he is so close. He is just so close. I feel you gotta feel for the guy right now. It's just, man, it's really frustrating. I'd be pissed off every time that I made contact if that's the results that I got just consistently. Yeah. So, do I go Kelenic here? Do I think that he does he go yard again? I mean, here,
pretty good matchup for Kelenic.
Let me grab my bobblehead here. Let me do one of these and see if he. Let me see if that tells me something here. I mean, I was right last night. Well, he didn't get the double.
You were half right.
The double. I was half right. He went 1 for 4. I said 2 for 4.
Pretty close.
But I got the home run on the first at bat. So that works out pretty well for me.
By a couple inches, sure.
I am actually not going to go Jared Kelenic. I am going to go with Abraham Toro tonight.
Ooh.
I think honest poll.
3 for 4 Jared Kelenic day coming up.
Clearly. Reverse jinx. But I'm going to go with Toro. I think now he's got a home run under his belt. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit better. He's starting to not miss as much. I think this is a good matchup for him against a sinker slider guy. It's someone that's not going to overwhelm him. I think he's gonna get on base at least a couple times tonight. Not sure if we get another Abraham. I think Honest Bull is going to get at least one extra base hit tonight, and the Mariners are going to get another win tonight. I will predict.
By the way, I have a stat that might surprise you here.
Okay.
Abraham Toro has not walked this year.
Ooh. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been fairly aggressive early on.
Yeah. I mean, his whiff percentage is in the 92nd percentile. His chase percentage, though, is also in the first percentile. So he is swinging at a lot of pitches in the zone and outside of the zone, which is unusual for Toro. It's not really his profile. So, it's
weird too after the spring that he had.
Yeah, no, he was great. It's not that he's always been like super, like he's not Joey Votto up there, right?
Right.
Like he'll chase some, but yeah, this year is kind of weird. Just feels like he's chasing he's just being a little bit too aggressive. And we'll see. I think that'll even out. But Toro's going to get to play a little bit more here now with until Haniger's back at least. Starting to stack together some starts, and he seems to be starting to figure things out. Yeah, kind of got things going with the double off of Kendall Graveman. In a sense, since then he had a double and a home run. So, Toro would be a lot. If Toro was good, that would help the Mariners a lot.
Especially right now.
Yeah, well, especially right now. But I mean, just in general, having a guy who could play second and third, technically first.
Yeah.
But he looks pretty good at second base. I mean, he's never going to be a Gold Glover, right?
No.
Get that. But he definitely looks better now than he did last year at any point. And he's looked pretty good at third as well. So Toro's a really nice player. So if he can, if Toro can hit 240 with a 330 on base and a 400 slugging, it's a pretty good player to have on your bench. And a guy who you can kind of ride if, something happens to Suarez or Frazier or something like that. So, it'd be nice to see Toro get it going a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a good athlete, and we've seen what a good Abraham Toro can look like, and that doesn't just go away. So, I expect that he'll have a week or two here at some point in the season where he looks like the Abraham Toro that we saw when they traded for him. Pre-September. Abraham Toro, of course, because September was bad. It was bad. But everything before that was fantastic. So I would like to see more of that, and I think we'll see that tonight with Abraham Toro, who, like you said, seems to be figuring some stuff out here. It's just it kind of feels like he was a little bit late with his swings. He was also getting under the ball a lot, popping up the ball a lot. So it seems like his timing has been figured out a little bit here, especially, yesterday's home run, top of the zone. And he was able to drive that to one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. So that's, that's hopefully we'll get him going here, and we'll see him kind of come out of his shell now, because look, this guy for the most part since coming over to the Mariners has been one of their best hitters, and we saw him dominate the spring as well. So it's there, it's certainly there. It's just only a matter of time before he eventually breaks out, and I think that's coming. So that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on Locked On Mariners. For Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Gonzalez, that's CANEGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen of the day, just like you do here every day. Now make your second listen of the day Locked On MLB, where Paul Francis Sullivan, and please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the Major League's present and past. It's free wherever you get your podcasts, just like us. So have yourself a beautiful baseball day. We will see you tomorrow. Go M's.